what's up, everyone? 7 October's here. Welcome to another episode of Nightmare on Sedgwick Avenue, the home of hip hop and horror. And today we have another dope guest. She goes by Aïda, and she's a dope MC, lyricist, author, writer. And yeah, we have a really dope conversation, so check it out. And to get the conversation started, we kind of have like a connection, right? Like as far as like we were both on a dope like album or project by Kazine. I think that's how you say his name, but like French producer, really dope dude as well.
Kazine.
And the project was called Catalia, which was based on or inspired the Colombiana, right? The movie. And so you have a track, like really dope track called Venenosa on there. How I kind of want to even take it even further. Like I just wanted to mention that, but that's how I kind of like came onto like I think I was already following you before the project. I can't remember, but I just remember like coming across social media and I was like, oh shit, like she can spit.
Well,
like
thank
the
you.
clarity in your like
Thank
delivery,
you.
right? And like it's just like like the abrasiveness to like that New York grittiness. I love that sound. And just to hear
Thank
it from
you.
like another like dope female, like it's inspiring to see that. So I was like, I started following you, and I've been following you for like I don't know how many years now, but like what brought you like what made you fall in love with hip hop? Like how did that happen? Obviously you come from the Mecca, like New
Yeah,
York,
yeah,
but
yeah.
how did that all get started?
I mean, yeah, I guess that's what I'm from New York, so it's you have to, there's no way you could. And I grew up. I was born in '85, so I grew up in the '90s in New York. So that was like, that was that. But I feel like I used to rap. I always tell this story because I used to just make up songs about the adults in my family, like my mom, my grandmother, my aunt, whatever. They would be in bitches. So like
Yeah.
me and my cousins would just we'd be on punishment. You got to do chores or do this, and I was always naturally like gifted at making songs. Like I would sing songs, and then I would just start rapping. And I think, yeah, my first rap song was about them being bitches. So I might have been like 6, 7 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And then from there, I would always just create stuff. And then by the time I got to, I think like junior high, like middle school, like sixth grade, around that time, then I was really writing rhymes, and never look back, never look back. There might have been courses of my life where I might have kind of steered clear of rap. We might get into that in here depending on where the conversation goes. But outside of like a few and far in between,
Yeah.
like just all the time, man. It's what I'm supposed to be doing. Even if I never record publicly, even if I never get paid, even if, you know what I mean, like I'm gonna just always rap. Like I'm the type of person, if I'm
Yeah.
talking to you and you my homie, I'm gonna just start rapping just because I'm gonna annoy the fuck out of you too. So like, I don't know, this is what I do. I love it, man, and it's a great way to express yourself too, especially like when you have a lot to say and nobody want to listen to you. Especially when if you come from a family that's like has that authoritarian kind of dynamic, so it's like you have to fall in line. You got to figure out a way to channel yourself. And I was always like, I didn't give a fuck. I never fell in line, so I was always in trouble. But rap always, it was like it's that voice of expression, And then once again, when you grow up in New York, it's like it's you surrounded by it. Everything is that. So
Yeah.
that's probably it in a
That's really dope.
nutshell. And I'm
What
competitive. So like not to cut you off, but like because I'm good at it and I'm
no, no, you're good.
competitive, and I used to me and them boys when I was young, I love that. I used to love rapping against boys, just smoke, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they used to get like mad and shit, and try to be mean to you and bully you because you better than them. But like I love that, and I still get that little kid feeling now as an adult. But like when I know I'm smoking these
Yeah.
men left, and they know it too. Some men, they're humble enough to be like, yeah, you got it. But then you got other men that they be in their feelings and shit. I'm like, yeah, I did that. I did that. Give me my fucking credit. And I ain't have to like down talk women or another person to be dope. Like I don't have to like it was all like bitches, and I don't have to do that to smoke you. I don't have to be ignorant. I could talk what I gotta talk and
Yeah.
still, you know what I mean? So just give me my money one way or another, baby.
Yeah. And that's what I
What's
love
up?
about your music. And I was just talking
Thank
about on the last guest I had about like the whole female MC, which I hate that kind of term because I feel like it should just be MCs. It shouldn't matter if you're like whatever
MC,
your
yeah,
sex is,
rapper, MC,
right? Just
lyricist.
MC. And so I was like, how they try to push that agenda for like like the more mainstream females have to be like a certain way, say certain things. And there's like so much variety. Obviously, you have to kind of go and dig for it, like like the rap cities, like just an example of like a more mainstream person. But like, what about that's what I dig about your style is like you don't say like certain things that like are supposed to be like kind of like clickbait or whatever. Like it's like you can tell like you're freaking well read, like just in your lyricism, like the stuff that
Thank
you
you.
say. I'm like, I know, I'm like, okay, this girl like has her knowledge and shit, like, and it also schools people too. And so that's why I was like, when I heard you, I was like, oh shit, like how did I never like come across your music? And so I'm kind of glad that social media exists because I get to like meet people like you that I would have never probably heard, or like, and now I don't listen to the radio, but even like then, like, I wouldn't have had
I'm
heard
with
your
you.
music, you know?
Thank you.
And
Thank
what,
you. No, no, I was just gonna say because I do appreciate social media because I'm very independent. I never limit myself to what is being presented to me, and that's not just music. That's anything in life. I've never, like, if I know
yeah,
my spirit didn't align with it, like I know that's not my only fucking option. You're never gonna ever in my fucking life or existence put something in front of me that I don't align with in any way, shape, or form and tell me these are your only options. No, I'm good. I'll figure this shit out. And when you move like that, the universe is always gonna meet you halfway. That's a gem. That is science. That's not hocus pocus. This is an actual
that's true.
scientific metaphysical truth. All right. I remember I came across this. This is kind of sidetracking, but I came across something I read, and it said metaphysics is the scientific explanation of spirituality, and I was like, I love that because it's
Yeah.
this. It really is. You can just explain it just by speaking in scientific semantics, right? Because everything is semantics. You got to speak to people in a certain language for them to fucking understand it. But it explains everything. But when you do what you're supposed to do, and you have a willpower or a mental fortitude that it's like, no, this is it, things
Mm-hmm.
happen because it's a thought, and just because you can't see a thought, it's energy, it's tangible, right? It's tangible, excuse me.
Yep.
So which means in another realm that shit is moving. You can't see it, I can't see it, but you can sense it. It's why when things happen, people sense things, they feel it before things actually transpire. Like a lot of the
That's true.
scientific, it's not mumbo jumbo. I ain't trying to get all sidetracked, but I'm just
No,
saying.
no, it's dope.
um
Yeah, yeah.
so because of that, I apply that everywhere. So when it comes to the music, what I was always, even before the like when MySpace was, listen, MySpace put me onto so many dope fucking rappers and singers that I would, and I mean local people that I would have never come across, like you said, like had it not been for that social media. And I want to say this might have been like, what,
Mm-hmm.
MySpace was like, what, 2006, like mid 2000s era kind of thing.
Yeah, 2000s. Yeah.
And at least for me, I was able to discover. I learned so, and not just limited to rap, just like music in general. I was put onto
Everywhere.
so many
Yeah.
different, beautiful songs, projects, and it was like, wow. And then once like that, I was, come on. And then LimeWire, Napster. When you download, I don't know like how
Yeah.
old you are too. I might be giving away my age, but
No,
I was a download. I
no,
was
we're
getting
we're close.
viruses on
We're
my
close. I'm
computer.
like four. We're like I'm
Oh
the
yeah, I'm
'80s. So I'm
30.
like '89. I'm right at the cusp. I'm like they're gonna be 35.
Okay, so there you go. You just made it. You just became cool.
Yeah.
But like I was getting viruses on my computer left and right because I was always downloading music. But you remember when you downloaded it, sometimes they didn't have the exact name. It would be like just different things or under certain art. Like it was just weird how they would like title things. I
Yeah.
think like trying to pirating. And based off of that, I would
Yes.
end up with music like I in the search. I'm like, what is this? I ain't search it, but I would just download it just because I was curious. And I used to discover music based off of that, just based off of downloaded fucking music. I never limited myself, excuse me, to the radio. Because even with certain rappers and rap crews that I really appreciated growing up, not all of them were showcased or pushed mainstream. Because like I'm trying to think. So like the Firm, right? They had Nas, AZ, and all of that. But I was a big fan of Cormega. I was a big fan of Nature, and they didn't really have music out like that on the radio and stuff. This is back when you had to get like mixtapes and CDs and all that. So
Yeah.
I was a junkie in that aspect. And I was always looking for different things. And once again, being from New York, it's every fucking culture, right? It's the fucking melting pot. So you're around different
Yeah.
ethnicities, nationalities, and you're coming across different musical genres and everything. Like, like all of that shit. So, even that. And I was fortunate enough that I never limited myself to like my own neighborhood. I never just stayed on my block. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, used to
Yeah.
ride my bike all over. And when I got a little older, I didn't just stay in my neighborhood. You got a bus pass, what I'm going all over the fucking borough. Oh, I could take the train. I'm going everywhere in the city. And I'm just, and you just learn. I never limited myself to anything. So because of that, I was always able to like be exposed to just different things. Like prior to social media, I guess that's the fucking point of this whole diatribe. My bad. I just be talking.
No,
So
you're
you
good.
make sure you cut me off when you're supposed to cut me off.
No, no, I like, and I also like, I was interested because, kind of to take it back to what you said about like the metaphysics is like pretty much what spirituality is just in a more, I guess, educated way to say it, right? And when you said that, it kind of spoke to
Hmm.
me too because of like we were talking about your lyricism, right? Like,
I was talking about this with my sister that I feel like also rapping, and not even just rapping, even just music in general, any genre, like you're manifesting a lot of these things. And even like to use like Tupac as an example, like I think about like the whole energy, like everything. It's like I call it like in other music,
Premonition,
like
I'm gonna
rapping is like
die.
magic
They're
spells, right?
coming to
Like
kill
magic
me.
spells. And exactly, and he kind of manifested his death, like sadly, like if you think about him, Biggie, like all these people, like they were talking about, like they were super paranoid, which I understand like where they were coming from as well, but at the same time, like the power of words, right? And so that's why like when you rap about the stuff you do, because I feel like I write similarly to you, like not the same style, but as far as like what the content of like what where I write from, because I love history, I love horror movies, like you'll hear references of movies and stuff in my stuff. But like the fact that like I've said stuff too that like has come to pass in my lyrics. And so I see like the power of that, and that's why I see with you too, and you talk a lot about that too, and I'm glad that you brought that up about the whole spiritualism, and how I was just talking about that with another guest yesterday, how like people don't really understand it, or like the whole, let's say even take it deeper, like as far as like the ghost and all these, like the other realm, right? Like, or like even using psychedelics to kind of like get rid of that veil. Like for me, I was like, yeah, it's like people don't understand it, so they don't believe it, or they're scared of it. And because I was just talking about like how I'm obsessed with horror, and horror can connect to also the spiritual world, right?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
And so like I think people fear what they don't understand, right?
Listen, that last,
Are
my
you
bad.
still
I'm
there?
sorry. I
Okay.
feel like my
Okay.
connection.
Okay.
Yeah, you can hear me. Sorry, I had to like
Yeah. Kind
switch my
of.
Wi-Fi. Um,
Okay. Now you're good.
yeah, that's so funny that you just said that. That last thing, people fear what they don't understand. I literally just had a conversation with myself, because yes, I speak to myself all the time. Um, and it was just more so like I know, especially whatever, like I know like the different perceptions people have about me if they don't necessarily know me, even people that do know me, but especially if they don't know me, right? Whether they think, oh, they be like, well, that's a witch, or she's spooky, or she doing this, she playing with dark magic, da, 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 da. Like I know that, I'm fully aware of that. Like I could give a fuck, I really don't care what they think. However, I'm very welcoming. If you ever approach me from an open heart chakra and you ask me certain questions, you know, depending on the kind of question too, right? Because like if you
Yeah.
being very intrusive, I'm like, whoa. But for the most part, like, I'll explain things to you, right? Because I know you're just curious. It's like if you're approaching a wild animal, right? Sometimes like animals are not stupid. Whenever you see an animal attacking a person, that person was not respecting their fucking space.
Yep.
Maybe few and far in between, it was solely like a the R complex of the animal. They were just being like a predator. But
Basic instinct. Yeah.
generally speaking, no. That's not the case. They feel threatened, and now they respond, and they're trying to protect themselves. But if animals are smart enough to know when you're not coming in that kind of dynamic, if it's just a curiosity, because you're not gonna go up close to be curious either. You might be like, yo, oh, and it's the same thing. So like they're not, they're not gonna to really attack you. But what happens is people, right? Because it's usually white men, right? Let's call a spade, because they want to fucking take over and dominate everything. So like, oh, oh, fucking animal, I don't care, right? So they go over there, and then when the animal even like reacts in a way that's to protect itself, the white man's shooting and killing the fucking animal, right? And it's kind of like, but you killing this shit out of fear. You approached it from a space of fear. It's no different than police killing black people, right? You don't know this black man, this black woman. The skin is what you are afraid of. And before even having a conversation with this fucking person, you pulling out a gun and putting bullets in them. That's fear. So it's the same thing. So me knowing that, and I'm a loving person. So if you cosmic and we on the same type of time, I feel like you know what I mean. Like if you lead from love, you're not afraid to be vulnerable, but you're not stupid. You probably experience shit time and time again that let you know not everybody moves like that. A lot of people have
Yep.
malicious intent. So if you lead from a space of love continuously, no, you're not going to be afraid to continue leading from that, but you're going to be reserved to a certain extent. You might not be as social as you once were, right? You might limit yourself to where you frequent in terms of, operating with another human being. With that being said, you're doing it because it's like, people probably afraid of you. Like, I don't know, this person could just always, so out of fear, and then they take advantage of you. They're afraid to be as loving as you are because they can't be that way. They're afraid to be vulnerable. That's why, they fuck this fuck, and that's why they move like in such a low vibrational manner, because they're afraid to get hurt. But if you're a really strong individual, you know that's a part of life. You're gonna get hurt. But like I'm not gonna be a loving person because people could take advantage of me. That's a weakness. So it's the same token. So like when I know people like looking at me from like, especially if you're religious, right? And you're like, oh, shit, that's a devil worshiper. Like, I already know you judging me based off of fear. You're not even having a fucking conversation with me, asking me something. So it's the same, like you just said, like when they fear it, it's a different kind of energy. And just to go circle back, excuse me, to what you said too about the manifesting stuff when you're writing. That's another reason. Like I'm talking about like eons ago, I changed my language and how I spoke with the raps, right? So now, even now, like if I write something, because I still say ignorant shit when I'm rapping, because it's still rap. Like I gotta let you know I'm gonna fucking out rap you, but I say it in a manner that you know I'm just rapping. Like so, even when I pen it, like this, you might hear me in the actual bar say I'm just joking, I'm just kidding, or I'm because I also like I understand like I'm writing, I'm scribing something. So there's no way I'm gonna scribe some crazy shit. And let's just say I didn't scribe. I'm joking. I'm playing. I make sure before I scribe it, I communicate with them like, look, this is just rap. I'm just rapping. I don't mean this shit, but it's rap. Gloves off. I can't be loving it if I'm rapping. I gotta fucking smoke you. I'm rapping because it's a competition.
Yeah.
It's like boxing. I love you when before that bell rings, but we step in that ring and that bell rings. I don't like no, all's fair. Like I don't care. That's like because I used to compete. I used to be amateur boxer. I never cared when like people did grimy shit. If I got elbowed, headbutt, I wasn't mad about it. Like I didn't do it back to you because like fuck you. Like I'm good enough to not have to do that. But I wasn't upset about that because I know it comes with the territory. So I'm like, it's boxing because as soon as the bell rings and now it's done. We're good. It's business. That's all. So it's the same token. So with rap, I'm cautious of that. That's also another reason now when I write, I be writing about money. I'm like, fuck out of here. I'm going to scribe my way to some motherfucking millions. That's a cheat code? Oh, I'm on it. That's a real cheat code. And I be trying to tell people about that. But I'm like, that's not my business. That's on you. But I discovered that. I be watching all of them fucking new age videos too and learning all of that shit. Because I like to compare and contrast like, how it relates to stuff that I study and I know. And I'm like, it's literally all the same thing. It's just about, it's like food, right? What's your taste? Everybody has a different taste. But as long as you get the nutrients, that's it. That's it. Some people like bananas. Some people like apples, oranges, kiwi, mango. I don't fucking know. So, just get your nutrients, I guess.
No, and I like that you said too that you also like talk your shit, because I also, not to like don't get it twisted, like I love that shit too, because that's what hip hop is too, like the storytelling, right? And also even telling stories from different perspectives, because I've done it, like even in that Catalea project with like Kazine, like I did it from a perspective of me being an assassin, but not necessarily like, oh, that's me, like I'm not a killer,
Yeah.
But it's like that creativity that's what I love about hip hop too as a genre, because that's why I compare like hip hop and horror together, because it allows you to explain things in so many different ways, not necessarily the literal way. You can use so many like metaphors and even put yourself in different characters and like alter egos to be able to tell a story, which is like, that's what hip hop is. And I feel like horror is the same thing. Like they talk about the horrors of society, but just make it into more of a, a horror story. And so that's cool that you did say that. And I kind of wanted to kind of touch on too, like as far as like your music, because we kind of already talked about it, like kind of what motivates you, what inspires you, but what else, like I know I saw in another interview where you said that it's kind of like just like a higher power, right? When you get like that kind of like bug to like write something, like what like how does that even happen, or like where does that come from for you, like the inspiration to write like a track?
Yeah, this is kind of a similar question that they did ask in that interview, and it's honestly it depends. Like there's no like clean cut cookie cut thing. It's just so I could say this, right? Say you are producing, you send me a batch of beats right now, right? You're like, yo, like I got some beats, right? And then I can hear the beat. Sometimes I hear a beat and I'm like, oh, let's immediately, and then it's kind of like the beat writes itself. I'm not even doing the beat is like Then other times I might hear a beat and it's not writing itself, but like flows might just start coming to me, and then I kind of like outline a template of like and so then when I go back and write, I write in accordance with the template that came to me. Other times it could be, you sent me a concept that you had, so which is even easier for me because then like I'm a writer also, so now it's like, oh, you already gave me the concept, I don't really have to do anything but write around that concept.
Yeah.
Other times I hear the beat and I might have to sit with it a while until something catches me. So that's why I know it's like a higher source. And that could come from, I could be in the shower and it'll come to me. I could just be laying down. I could be smoking weed. I could be peeing, whatever. It just, whatever, it happens.
Yeah.
But now, because I also, like, I'm every day I'm writing, I'm trying to get projects out. So it's kind of like, because I've done that for so long, for so many years, it's a skill that, like, it's like a muscle memory too.
Okay.
So now it's like I don't really have to think as much as I probably once did when certain, it's kind of like it's just rolling out. Other times, like I said, my personal favorite, I'll just sit outside. That's it. Like if I know I have no inspiration whatsoever, nothing's coming, I sit outside. And I sit outside in the sun, I soak up the sun, and I get the cosmic download. That's some real shit. It's no different. I tell people all the time, sit under a tree, hug a tree. The metaphysical experience you will have, believe me, like, it's unexplainable, and you would have to experience it to know what I'm talking about. And anyone that's ever done this, they know what I'm talking about. So it's the same notion. Sit in the sun. And if you're truly in tune and truly righteous, for real, you're gonna get all those downloads. And this is why I say, like I said, a lot of times when I do write, after I wrote it, I'm like, oh shit, like, wow, that came from me. But I know it was I'm a messenger, and I'm adamant about that. And I don't take anything away from anybody that hip rap is a hustle. If you could feed yourself from rap, from some form of it, go for it. I'm not here to take that away from you. But I know that the elements of hip hop, the culture of hip hop, like, you had to be chosen to rap at one point,
Yes.
because you were a messenger. You were a messenger for the other side. You were a messenger for the people. You were speaking for the people. You were a leader for the people. And just because you can rap and shit, don't mean like you supposed to rap. That's also, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people I know, it's like playing sports. Like, you might be good at a sport, didn't mean that you were chosen for that. But you can't really get money in sports like that. Rap, you could get money in so many different ways without really committing yourself to it. But there was a point in time where you really had to be chosen. And it wasn't even just cosmic, because when you get around people that rap, if you couldn't rap, you weren't allowed to step in that cipher. If you came around talking some shit, they would never allow that. Because even outside of rap, like, a lot of this shit is programming and conditioning. So people are really thinking this is reality. But in real life, in urban neighborhoods, let's be real. And this is across the fucking country, I'm certain, because this is also in the Caribbean and Latin America. You could go anywhere that has an urban area, and there's certain people in those neighborhoods that protect those neighborhoods, and that people fucking listen to. There's people that are actually like, nah, that shit don't happen around here, or at least not on this block, or we're not allowing that in this building, kind of thing. It's the same notion. It was like that with hip hop too. Like, nah, we're not letting y'all pump that over here. There are children around here. So, there used to be times where you could go to you could bring your kids to a hip hop fucking concert. And I'm not saying like everything has to be child appropriate. No. But I'm just saying there was a point in time where that was a balance, right? They also had child appropriate things. So it's the same thing, man. It's just like, I know I'm a messenger, because even if it's not rap, right? You're going to listen to me. I'm the type of person, you could just have a conversation with me on the fucking street, and you can listen to what I have to say. However, because the way the conversation probably struck up was in an organic way, and you're like, oh, nah, this lady seemed like she knows some shit. I might never see her again in my life, but I like this conversation. I like this exchange of information. So people listen to me regardless, whether I rap or not. I just so happen to be really good at rapping, like gifted for it. I know that. I've always done it. People pay attention to me. I have a star, the it factor. Like, we don't have to beat around the bush. I'm a fucking star. Like, anybody be around me like, that bitch is fucking funny. Like, she's supposed to be making money. What is she doing with her life that she's not a millionaire? She's clearly fucking up in other areas, right? But people fucking listen to me, rapping or not. It's just, I have the ability to rap, and I know how powerful rap is. And I kid you not, people in other countries listen to my shit more than my friends probably don't even listen to my shit. They know I do this shit, but they don't listen to it. But there's people in other countries never fucking met. All right, look at how same thing with us, right? We came across each other through somebody else, or I think, if I'm not mistaken, like you said. But it's like, you on the other side of the country. Yeah. We would have never kind of, but like, yeah. So it's kind of like, if it's supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen. I tell people all the time, they be like, yo, what's up with the music? What's up with this? I just say everything in divine timing. That's it. Don't ask me anything else. Divine timing. As long as I do what I'm supposed to do, it'll start to unfold, and people will start to see. Because I work a lot behind the scenes. I don't post about it. I don't speak about it. I just wait until it's done so I can show and prove. But because of that, I know if you just look at the aesthetics, it looks like I'm not doing anything. So anytime I do post something, like, people be shocked. Oh, you're outside? It's like they're so shocked. Have no fucking idea. I'm outside all the time. I just don't fucking post about this shit or you know what I mean? I just because there's no need for me to do that. So, but I use that to my advantage because I'm like, oh, people are so it's a fucking mind fuck. They really don't own their minds. They're so controlled by an illusion. So I'm like, cool, let me use this shit to my advantage. That's what these people are doing. And you paying them. So why can't I get a piece of the cut?
And I love.
I'm not a child
Oh my
molester.
god.
You know what I mean? So,
And I do love the thing that you said about like being like chosen, because I talk about that too with like other creatives. How I mean, I feel like that's why we're in each other's paths, right? Because like not everybody, and not to like downplay, we're like, oh, we're like special and shit like that, but it does take special people to be able to like like I said, share it, whether it's rap or some other type of creative outlet, or even not even creative, like just some sort of gift like that you give to other people. And I feel like that way I was drawn to you, because like you're that type of person too, where you're into like spirituality, getting to know more of your inner self, like and like you said, like not even just your raps, but like even sometimes you just post shit and dropping gems, like just you on a video. And I was like, damn, like she's really interesting. That's why when I was trying to figure out like who do I want this season,
oh, thank you.
I was like, it would be dope to have a conversation with you, because I feel like we think like similarly. And it's not just about like the surface level conversations. Like I love having like these deep conversations, like you said, because like I'm pretty sure people are going to take a lot of different gems from what you just said, like even throughout the whole conversation. Because I've had those things where you just said where like they bumped into you in the street, and then you kind of remember those people. Like when you have those like conversations, you're like, who the hell? Like, and you're like, was that person even there? Sometimes, like for me, I'm like, because I'll have like conversations with people that just come out of nowhere. I might be having a bad day or something, and then this person comes up, and it has to do with what I was just thinking. It's kind of like the universe reassuring you. Like I'm pretty sure you have this too, but like as a creative, I have a lot of like self-doubt sometimes, where I'm like, why am I doing this? Especially because this is not my 9 to 5. Like I have a 9 to 5 to be able to support myself, but this is what I love to do, like hip hop, horror, all that stuff. And so sometimes I'll be like, why am I even doing this for? Like, and then somebody will message me like some either old song or something that I posted, and I was like, oh shit, like I forgot about that or whatever. And it's kind of like the universe sending a message like you're in the right place at the right time. So I'm pretty sure you've had something like similar to you that's happened throughout your life.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Definitely at this point, I know they annoy with me because I be almost I'm like, y'all gotta send me a fucking sign because this is too much fucking chaos for me to be this righteous doing this. If you want me to stay on this fucking path and continue to do this, I need some signs. So like, I mean, before I was because I was always in tune, I just wasn't aware, right? So when I wasn't aware, and when things would happen, I'd be like, oh shit, wow, okay, okay, that gotta be a sign. But then when I became aware of it, like I know now I can ask for the signs. So now it's like, now I'll be asking these motherfuckers left and right. I need reassurance because I'm so logical, right? Like my chart is triple air, right? So I'm a Libra sun, Aquarius moon, Gemini rising. All air, all logic, all intellect. I need logic. Emotions, I understand them, I can process them, but they do not rule me. I control my fucking emotions. That's my demeanor, right? So you already, when you start dealing with this stuff, this is not logic. I mean, there's a logic to it, but it's not a logic that the logical mind understands. You have to start developing that intuitive notion, right? So then you could start to understand it. So with that being said, so as I always need tangible evidence. So that's my tangible evidence, that reassurance, those like little signs here and there, because I know that like that's how I was supposed to receive it. Even if like I might randomly, like on the phone, right? A song might randomly come on out of nowhere. I didn't even hit shuffle or anything. Sometimes, phones just whatever technology, but like the song that came on, like, there was maybe the title, the artist, something it was a message I was supposed to. I'm like, oh, okay, like kind of like that. Or sometimes I might come across a movie. I'm like, oh, I've never seen this, and I watch the movie, and there might have been a line in that movie that I was like, oh shit, that pertain to something I was thinking of, so I knew I was supposed to watch that movie at that time. That's why I always say everything in divine timing. So if I'm not ready for it, then I'm not ready for it. I'm trying to humble myself enough to know that I clearly am not ready for my millions because I don't have it yet. So, I'm trying to figure that shit out. I ain't even gonna lie to you, baby. That's it. Give me my fucking money. I'm not a devil. I'm righteous. I don't want to be around people. Just give me my money. I could disappear, be by myself, and work with spirit, behind the scenes. I don't want to be on the scene. That's another thing that like it's kind of like a for me because I I'm built for like spotlight. People, I have a natural alluring energy in a sense. Like people gravitate towards me, and I think it's just because like I have no ulterior motive. Like I don't give a fuck. I have no. I'm too lazy to want to do something to another person.
Yeah.
Outside of like okay, a pedophile, like if somebody's in immediate danger and you have to like actually act on that. Like I'm not talking about in those extreme circumstances. In general, I'm not doing that. I'm not. Like I said, I'm a Libra woman. I want to fucking relax. I'm not doing any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like this is kind of like. But with that being said, I think people they appreciate it. Even people with fucked up motives, they feel calm around me because they know like. So if you do something to me, like you gotta be a fucking devil, because I ain't even do a fucking thing to you. So if I decide to do some shit to you, that that shit was warranted. But with all of that being said, man, so like I know that I'm like, damn, like you giving me all of these fucking gifts to be in the spot. I don't want to be in the spotlight, but I know that there are messages and things that need to be said that people need to hear. It might not even be. It might be hypothetically speaking. Let's say out of everything I fucking create. Two people out of the millions of people that might have come across my shit, only two people like really transform their lives to a different fucking level. Then you know what? Okay, I did what I was supposed to do, kind of thing. I have to like live with knowing like that's what it is, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, this is even my fucking millions. I mean, I'm gonna do that, but you know what I mean. But at the same token, like I said, if I have to be at the forefront, like I'm willing to do that now. That's another reason, like. I'm also like, all right, I'll do X, Y, and Z. Even though I'm private, but I know the more in front of the camera you get, the more people, they think they know you. Especially if you're relatable, you have a fun personality, then they want more of you. Which, it's kind of like a balance. So it's like I have to be willing to give you a little more because I know you're gonna listen to me, and I know there's messages that need to be like pushed, like using me. But so I'm just here for them to use me until they decide they don't have to use me. I'm looking forward for the day that they don't use me. So they like, all right, bitch, you did enough. Get out of here, take your money, and go behind the scenes. That's where I'm at.
No, and I love that what you kind of to go a little bit back where you said about like being self-aware, right, and being in tune with with this like a spiritual side, and just like the messages from like I don't know who it is, like I said, like a higher power. Because I feel you on that too. I was just talking about that with my sister, where like we're talking about something. And either a song or a movie, like you said, will kind of reassure you or send you a message. Like you may be trying to ask like a question to yourself, like what's the a question to this, and then you'll get an answer through either a movie or music. And that's what I love about movies and music in general, and kind of like segue into like movies, right? Because we were talking about like when I reached out to you, I was kind of cracking up about that. I kind of told you like your sound kind of reminds me like darker vibe, like horror vibe rap, and then you made a comment that like it's funny that I associated you that way, and that Freddy Krueger was like a childhood like crush for you.
That's
right?
my boo. Minus him being a child molester. Yeah. Like let's get that out the way. Like I know that was why they burnt him, but outside of that, that's my baby. Hold on, I'm gonna see if this shows up. I'm gonna try to show you a picture. I don't know how it's gonna work with the resolution, but this is just to show you like I'm not bullshitting when I talk about Freddie's my baby, like for real, for real. So out in so I want to have I'm not married, right? But I say I'm down for a Vegas wedding. Like that's my speed.
Okay.
And I had looked up this thing. And they basically, there's a Freddy Krueger wedding package. It was like $700 something. It was under $800, and I think the officiant, whatever that term is, they dress up as Freddy Krueger. I guess you could dress. Oh, so let me see. I don't know if you could.
It kind of looks, yeah. It probably will look cleaner, yeah. Okay. But I see it, yeah.
All right, wow. But yeah, it was like this is from what year is this? 2019, and I still have this in my phone. They probably like up the price and shit because of inflation, but like that's how much I look like. That's my boo. Like when I tell you like my baby for real, like and I say because he was fucking funny. He was very hilarious. Like he's very Since we talking about horror movie, real quick, I love being scared. Like that's like a turn on for me. Nothing crazy, like not like like you're a rapist scary, but like a little a little creepy, a little pervert creepy, like. Little nasty prank phone calls kind of thing scare me, kind of shit. Like I'm game for that. I'm not gonna lie, a little spook here and there. And I think that's what I loved about Freddy, because he was also funny. Like he was scary. I mean, for me as a kid, but he was so fucking funny. He was such an asshole, right? And that's my personality. Like Like I'm an asshole, so like I always related to him to that. Oh, real quick, just to go back to the initially when you were talking about the Catalea joint. So Colombiana is actually that's one of my favorite movies. So that was like when I wrote that, I was literally just writing the movie like as if I was a Catalea. That's really what it was. But that movie when he hit me up to do that, I was like, "What? You're doing a project on what?" One of I don't know if a lot of people like that movie. I guess it might not be like, is 5 star. I'm sure people are very they're critical. I'm not that much of a movie critic. Like I think the stupidest movies are like 5 stars. So like don't ever use me as a movie reference. But I thought that movie was fucking
I
dope. I
love
have
that
that shit. I
movie.
bought that
Yeah.
shit on Blu-ray. I was like, what? Because I also I really like Zoe
I was
Saldana
gonna
too.
say me
So like
too.
I
Me too.
support anything she's in. With the exception of when she did what's her name? Nina Simone. I couldn't support that. I don't support blackface. But outside outside of that, when she did Colombiana, I was like, what?
Yes,
What?
that's
And it was like
facts.
nonstop suspense, nonstop. I was like, what this? Listen. She's like women like that. Well, I know that was a character though, but like that kind of feminine assassin kind of character, they always inspire me to stay in shape because I'm like, what if I have to escape from danger? And I'm I think I used to watch a lot of Lifetime growing up in horror movies. I'm like, am I fit enough to do this? Like I'm
Yeah.
fearless. I'm not scared, but just because you're not scared don't mean you
Yeah.
fit,
Don't.
right?
I was
So
gonna
like
say
I
the same
like
thing. Yeah. I feel you on
so
that.
I'm like it always inspires me to like move my body and be like when she in the beginning when she was in the jail cell and she put on the all black and then she
She
like snuck
goes
up through the
through there.
pipes and went to like to kill the
I'm
yeah I
like,
was
I'm
like
not that flexible,
what
man. I'm like, man, I need to up my game.
I was like I mean, I'm that flexible now. I ain't that light, so I gotta get some of this fluff off. But I was like, but I like that shit. I know that was random, but anyway, yeah, back to Freddie. That's my baby. But I did want to ask you what your favorite franchise is, since we're on that.
Damn, that's a
I know
good
I'm the
one. I
interviewee,
know,
but I'm
right?
curious.
Damn, you put me on the spot. I don't know. It's freaking hard for me. Like, if I were to say, it would probably be for sure Nightmare on Elm Street. I feel like they have stronger like movies sequels that are that one.
Okay.
And I can't say Hellraiser because Hellraiser, some of them are shit. Damn, it's. I feel like there was one that I was thinking about. I mean, I like Scream. I know like it gets shitted on because they're like,
I was just swear on my fucking cunt. While you were talking, in my mind, I was like, yo, Scream. That's like, I know it's more recent, so I don't know if it could
yeah,
be.
but it's
I mean, it's still a
progressed, and I feel like
franchise.
all like I have
Yeah.
loved all of them. Maybe like there was like some shitty ones. Maybe like part 3 and 4 where I'm
Scream
like, oh,
3,
okay,
the
yeah,
third, the
yeah,
third one. Yeah, the third one was.
yeah. Like I
But you
like
know what I
Patrick
found
Dempsey,
out?
so I was like, I'm kind of like, that's the only reason.
When I found out, yeah, when I found out that the original writer didn't write the third one, and I was like, oh, that made sense. But then I think they came on to write the rest, and I was like, okay, but yeah, I liked them. But like the last two, the more recent ones, I really enjoy them.
Me too. I feel like
I
I
liked
loved how
them.
it's
So,
evolved because like who I would have never thought like because I watched Scream since I was like a little kid like the first one and like seeing
hmm
like two like brown girls like be like the main protagonist I would never have expected that like to see the progression of that film. So I would say yeah Scream would be a solid one because they have solid films. Like I love like
yeah,
Jason but like the Friday the 13th like not all, some of them are trash. But there's like here they're like they're dope. But yeah I would say probably like Nightmare on Elm Street because they have decent ones. Maybe like some of them were kind of like not the best, but I feel like the freaking
hmm
special effects were crazy for the time. So Nightmare on
yeah.
Elm Street and probably Scream would be my top two. What about you?
Okay. Yeah. For me, it's always gonna be Nightmare on Elm Street. I like Michael Myers. I'm a Halloween fan. I can't say I've liked every Halloween movies, but I will say that the last three that the last trilogy that came out like the finales of it,
Hmm.
I liked how they ended it. I don't know if you saw it, like, but with him basically teaching the other kid, kind of like passing the torch stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was dope, but overall, I like the original first two Halloweens, Halloween 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Um, those might be in like my top because it was those shits used to scare me. Like Michael Myers actually scared me. Not to say Freddy didn't scare me, but I was like Freddy was also funny. So it was and I had a crush on him. So it was like but like Michael, he didn't talk. He was like big. That's another thing too. Freddy was mad skinny and frail. Like he was like you. he was like, he was just an asshole.
Yeah.
You know, he was like a creep. Michael Myers was like a killer.
That's yeah. And, like there was
He
like
was
really
like
no
like a
reason behind
killer.
it when they changed it. Like at first it was like, oh, it's his sister, but then afterward, before that,
Yeah,
it was like he was just killing to kill. So like in the
yeah. And I
first
was
one,
like, yeah,
yeah, it's and
but
I
scary.
love the I don't know how you feel about the Curse of Michael Myers. I think it's part 6. Like that one, I don't know why I always
With the kid, with the niece,
yeah.
right?
This is no,
Right? Was
this
that
is the one
no,
with
no? That was done with the occult shit,
cult.
with the occultism,
Yes,
right?
I liked
Yeah, yeah,
it because I
yeah,
was like, it's a whole different spin to it. I was like, damn, they should have dug more into that. I love that. I don't know why it just stood out to me, that film.
that one was actually real scary to me. I think I went to the movies to see that one.
Okay.
Because I think that's the one that had Dr. Loomis say his eyes were the devil's
Oh, that
eyes
was
or whatever
H2O.
the
That
fuck.
was H2O. Yes.
Oh, that was it. Okay, all right, never mind. That line stuck out for me. But
Yes.
no, but the curse was with the baby, right?
Yes. The little baby. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That was a creepy. That one really creeped me out, but I liked that because then they had like the when they were showing like the what was it, like the whatever, those dark energy, that force, and like all blacks that kind of chose him to. I like that. It was
Yeah,
definitely
like the
it
whole
was
thing
it
that
was
is like
very
Michael
esoteric.
Myers was one of those. I forgot what the cult was called, but like they picked him, and that's why he was a killer. And then now this baby was the next one.
Yeah.
We're talking about
So it was
chosen,
like
not in a good way.
yeah, but that made it, that actually made it scary, right? Versus like you said, the first two he was trying to kill his sister because that was that, but like versus like now he's chosen to be a fucking killer, like kind of like what was the guy, what was it, Night Stalker, the one that was Richard Ramirez that was doing all that
Yes.
crazy shit.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
was like he was like chosen by Satan to do that shit.
And his was that shit was so weird too. Like how the fact what's scary about him though, like his
You-
mo was that he just killed anybody too. Like I didn't know about that. He
yeah,
killed old people, young people. Like he didn't really, and that's why they couldn't really catch him. I was like, damn, this fool was fucking
it was
crazy.
that was creep, and he didn't, and he like sexually assaulted some of the kids, some of the young girls. I was like, what? And like oh like you said, it was, there was no pattern, right?
Yes,
So
that was the
that's what
creepy
I'm saying.
part.
Like we gotta, I mean, I know this is kind of off topic, but just to, because we talking about the esoteric stuff, right? Because I have to remind myself of this too. Like for every godly kind of energy or whatever, anything good that happens within the universe, anything loving, you have to remember there's an equal opposite,
Yep.
you know, and that and it that happens. That's the reality. So it's like I got like, with same way you might be chosen by a higher source to deliver a message, right, via your creativity, he was chosen by a lower
That's
source
true.
to deliver a message, you know what I mean, you know, via his homicides, whatever. Like say, you know, they have workers too, same way God, Allah, source, you know, whatever you classify it as, has light bearers and workers. You got people working for the other side. We see it all the fucking time in our government. You
Yeah.
know, you know,
Yeah.
like these people are in powerful political positions, yet they have no fucking compassion. They're inhumane. So like they're clearly working for a different source. But like, yeah, that Richard Ramirez shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Um, the
Did you see
Zodiac
too how
killer.
like how he was, sorry to cut you off, but like how he was caught too. Like for me, like I had never knew how he was actually caught until I watched the documentary on Netflix like a couple years ago.
On Netflix, right?
Yeah, and I was like, shit, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
fucking East LA people like fucking held him down, like, and I was like, that's just badass. Like I thought that was badass how they actually like.
That's community building,
Yes.
okay? That's but you see, but that goes back to like that shit I was talking about earlier, in the conversation about in every neighborhood, like
Yeah.
there's people that exist that protect that neighborhood. Like don't ever be fooled by whatever they trying to feed you. Like yes, you have ignorant people everywhere, excuse me, everywhere, of course, but the majority of people are law-abiding citizens.
Yep.
Whether or not they should abide the laws, that's another debate.
Yeah.
But most people, you know, they're not obstructing justice. They're not like tearing up their neighborhoods. Majority of people in a neighborhood are not destroying their fucking neighborhood.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't tune into that. Especially, you know, I don't know how it is over there in San Diego, but like with New York, right? Especially like New York drill and all of that. They always trying to associate like all these young kids in the gang, and they shooting up and they do all this with the drill music. I'm like, yo, that's like a small percentage of children in New York listening to the drill stuff. Like the way you make the way they make it seem, they sensationalize it on social media as if like New York, the younger generation, we have this big problem. You nine out of 10 times you walking outside your house, your neighborhood, like that's not what it is. Everybody, they going to work, they going to school. They might be loud,
Yeah.
you know, of course, but like ain't nobody acting up and doing all of this crazy shit. And it's like, but if you were to go by what they're showing you, you would think like all of these young kids are this. You know how many young kids are like they are hip to what the fuck is going on, like for real, and it makes me proud because I'm like, damn, I wish when I was 17, 18, 19, like I was up on game, you know what I
That's
mean?
true. Yeah, and I feel like it has its pros and cons, like the fact that kids have more like easy accessibility, like the internet and stuff like that, because they're like more like I feel like the same thing. Like it could be a double edged sword, right? They can be more ignorant just because they're listening to whatever, but they on the other side they're more educated too on stuff that I didn't really care. Like and I was when 9/11 happened, I was probably like in sixth, seventh grade, but like even then, like I didn't really know understand the gravity of what was going on, because I was over here like we were talking about like downloading fucking line. I was just fucking over here downloading. Like, I didn't care about that shit, you know. But like the difference now is like, oh damn, like they're smart kids, but they're also like, oh, you can also say like the opposite too. Like they're also like just doing like some TikTok dances or some shit. But it's also, I feel like this younger generation is like taking care of their mental health is one thing that I never was told until I got older. Now as I've gotten older, and then being in tune of what's going on with the world, because before I just didn't really. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really care, because I was a kid. I was like, I'm over here. I wanted to listen to like the latest shit. Like I want to download this stuff, you know. So it's kind of dope.
I want to ride my bike.
Yeah, go play outside.
Go outside. Yeah. Real quick, I'm gonna say some fucked up shit. I was like 15, I think, when 9/11 happened. Yeah, I was a sophomore in high school. And I remember because I'm in New York too, and they just like they made us. I think when the first plane hit, like somehow somebody might have called somebody, like word started to get around, like, but it wasn't like nothing, nobody really knew. But then I think when the second plane hit, that's when everybody, so like all the teachers, they had us put on the televisions in the classroom to put it on the news and stuff like that, and they made us all sit down and see what was going on. And even then I was just like, I'm all right, because I come from, my family, they old school. I was already up on game. I knew, like, the American government ain't shit. Like, it was like, I already knew, like, I knew that. Especially you grew up in New York, and I'm sure it's the same in California. If you grow up in certain neighborhoods, you know how authority is, you know how police are, you already know how you're perceived. So you already know, you've been introduced to the reality of discrimination and all of this shit. So you really don't, I really ain't give a fuck. And then I'll never forget, my homegirl, this is how we was ignorant, right? It was like, the Twin Towers, the planes just flew into the Twin Towers. We was like, do we have school tomorrow? Oh God. I know, I was 15 and I was really like 14, 15, I was horrible. I was trash. Like I'm probably still paying now in karma for shit I did at 14, 15. But
yeah, it's like the difference, right? Like of how we like perceived it. Like we were just thinking about ourselves.
Yeah.
The world, like we didn't.
And then when I got older, like when I got to college, and then when I knew what happened, I was like, oh, because I already knew I was on that conspiracy type. Like by the time I was 17, 18, and that's because I grew up. I went to Catholic school when I was younger, right? So but I didn't, like I'm good. Like I was against religion because I was a girl. I was always a very, smart, intelligent young girl. So I already knew you trying to oppress me. I could never support this. Yeah. And so like I was always anti-religion. Because I was anti-religion, I was always seeking the truth. So I was always kind of like anti-system and even in school, like I knew the teachers were full of shit. Like I knew when teachers were bullshitting me, so like I didn't budge on certain things. I got in a lot of trouble from my mouth because I used to say what it was. Same thing in the house. Like I knew when adults would be on that bullshit. So I'm like, I mean, whatever. I could get in trouble. You could give me detention. I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna argue with it, but I'm still gonna say what I have to say because you bullshitting me. So I knew what it was. So like when I really got to college, and I was like. And that's when like people, we knew like now like this was an inside job and and then information started to come out. And so now, where I'm at now when I look, it's a completely different perspective because now I see like how all the shit plays in together. And I'm like, and then I go back, I'm like, okay, so now it didn't start at 9/11. We had a lot of inside jobs in this fucking country that goes back, and you know what I mean. So like, this is not the conversation for it, obviously, but the CIA was involved in a lot of shit, and they're always going to be involved in shit. You know what I mean? We just had a whole fucking global pandemic, right? That they were involved in some shit. So I look at that. That's why another reason when COVID came, I was like, okay, like this is clearly they bullshitting us in some way, shape, or form. Like, and then when you start doing the math, it's like almost every 20 years because. Before, like 20 years ago, was 9/11, right? And then when you learned that was a ploy to basically to fuck with our privacy, right? Our rights of privacy. And then when Edward Snowden came out and he gave us that information, he was not a fucking traitor. That's not treason. He did that for the American people. He came and told us what the fuck was going on, right? And y'all labeled this man a domestic terrorist or whatever the fuck title you gave him. And that's another thing you should know. When they start labeling white men a certain way, you should know now these people really don't give a fuck, because it's not just black and brown people that they trying to, like, they'll ostracize their own people. White people just need to understand that. That's the problem. White people don't realize that you're not on their level. They see you as expendable the same way they see us as expendable. You have just been conditioned to thinking, because you're white, that you somehow have power. You really don't have power. So when you start to see that they have no problem vilifying their own people, that should really start to tell you something about these fucking people.
Yeah,
I know I'll be talking all around, but it's like everything it's all connected in some way,
yeah,
shape, or form.
it's like a whole hidden agenda, like and that could be like a whole another episode too, like, because I feel you on that too, because yeah, like even maybe to connect it a little bit to like horror movies, like, and that's what I love about horror movies, because as when the pandemic happened, like everybody started making these films, right? Like all these conspiracy stuff about even the pandemic. And for me, like the thing that stood out for me, like even before the whole thing where we got sent home and all that stuff, was like they kept talking about China and all these different things, and I'm like, and then they started like kind of using them as like blame. And so it's so many things, like if you, like you said, about the whole self-awareness, kind of, it still connects to all this that we're talking about, because like I started like thinking, I'm like, what's like this agenda? And then now with like I don't want to go off tangent, but like even with the whole TikTok thing going on too, where like they want to like have it acquisition by somebody else that's in the U.S., not have China be involved with it, and it's a whole it all kind of connects again, like. And also like for freedom of speech, kind of like the whole thing with 9/11, like where they took some freedoms, like where they can spy on you and listen into shit. And so it's just kind of like history repeats itself, right? Like I feel like, and like you said, it's like a cycle. If you start doing the math and going backwards, and even to go further too, to connect it to hip hop, because I feel like when you were talking about how you question about like your like religion and stuff like that, because I grew up in a Catholic household too, and I started doing my own also like questioning about like, why do I believe in this, and like now I came to terms that that's not what I want to believe in, and it's really difficult too, coming from like a Latino household where like that's all they know. And especially when you start questioning it, and you're like, and especially because like it's really misogynistic, like religion too, because like the whole Eve being the one that bit the apple, but I was like, well, she saw knowledge too, so I'm like, it's not a bad thing. And then like, why is she the bad one, right? So kind of like, it all kind of connects a little bit as far as like the whole self-awareness, questioning, what we've been talking about throughout the episode. And like that's why I love about hip-hop, because hip-hop kind of got me into that like questioning stuff, right? Like the KRS ones, I mean, it kind of like to go even crazier, like the Cannabis, Jedi Mind Tricks, where like they have all these conspiracy theories, but that's what fed me to like want to seek knowledge on my own, not just everything that was told to us at school, but like even go and research stuff that are not taught in school. And for me, that's why hip hop and even horror too, like it's put me onto stuff, like 'cause horror also touches bases on stuff that's going on in society and what's happening in history. And it's educated me, honestly. Those two cultures have educated me more than I got an education from school, honestly, to be honest, because it kind of led me down the path to knowledge. And I feel like you talking, just hearing you, like it looks like it was kind of similar to you as well, like where it led you to that. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, you're correct. It was funny because I was having this conversation the other day in terms of like, why I'm fortunate, like the era of hip hop that I came up under, right? Because there was a balance. So yeah, the same way you had Little Kim, you had Foxy Brown, you had Lauryn Hill, you had Queen Latifah, you had MC Lyte, you had Salt and Pepper, right? Like you had the actual balance. There wasn't one archetype. I don't have anything against what's going on now in terms of the women that are at the forefront. I would never say remove those women from the forefront. All I would say is add some other women, that have different styles to the forefront. That's it. I would never like try to take anything away from another person, but why not add to, why not build on to this? But with that being said, with rap, I learned a lot. I did a lot of independent research because maybe I would have heard something in a song, right? Like maybe somebody mentioned a book or a movie or something that like piqued my interest, and because I really liked this artist, I was a fan of them because they were smart. I liked what I always gravitated towards this, like the Nas, the AZs, the Cormegas, like that kind. Even Jay-Z, you go like I hate Jay-Z now, but like growing up listening to him, like he's a very, very intelligent man. I mean, he's intelligent regardless whether I hate him or love him. He's intelligent. But like even like certain things that he used to say back in like his music. There's so many other artists that I would hear things and then it would prompt me to go and research and I would come across things and then I would learn based off of that, because all it took was this person to say something in a fucking rhyme and it prompted something within me to go and search for this, and then that led me to this. It's like a whole bunch of rabbit holes. So I'm like, that's how powerful hip hop is. That's how powerful these artists are. So to really get on here and play the card of I didn't sign up to be a role model, like that's irresponsible to me, because you're making money at the end of the year. If you weren't making any money off of this, then that's another story, because then it's like you just rapping to be a stripper, that's your hobby, nobody could take that away from you. But if you are making money and look at the consumer age, right, the demographics, look at who's at home to watch these videos when these videos are playing on television. Adults are supposed to be at work. So it's the children. Think about when we came up, MTV, BT, VH1 at one point. Like you're watching the music videos. This is what the children are consuming this. It's not adults. When you playing certain music on the radio in the morning, some parents are driving their kids to school, right? And you putting on the radio and the kid is in the car. Now you can't listen to the radio. You a fucking adult. You can't listen to the radio because your kid. Why are you playing this music when my kid is in the car? You going into a department store and they playing certain music. Why are you playing this music in a department store? So it's kind of like, my bad, I know I'm on a tangent kind of thing, but it's like, yo, like you hip hop is so powerful. It's because it's programming. Once again, a spellcasting is mind programming. So the fact that you and I could sit here and talk about the stuff that we know we learned, their children learning right now, but they not learning the shit they should be learning. I'm not saying they shouldn't learn this either, because you got to have a healthy understanding of everything, but everything within the right appropriate age. If once again you driving your kid to school, the kid is clearly not old enough to take the fucking bus on their own to listen to whatever music they want to listen to. The kid in your fucking car. And that, it's just like it. So I don't even blame the artist, because I don't think the artists have control over what time their music is played. But it's just like, like children are picking this up. Even if you're not listening to the lyrics, you looking outside the window, the thing is going in your ear, right? Yeah. It's going right to your subconscious, that rhythm. Now we're talking about a certain kind of hertz, and the body it vibrates now. So there's a certain vibration being released into the body. This is all metaphysical and physiological. This is some real scientific shit. You have no fucking idea that you're literally reprogramming your fucking mind and yourself to view life in a certain way, unbeknownst to you. And to think this is normal. It's like with the reality TV, right? And I love that shit. Like I come from Flavor of Love era. Like that was like New York.
We come from like the dope reality shows when they were still
right. When it was actually organic, when it wasn't scripted, like it was. So like New York, Tiffany Pollard. That's like my goat. Like when I look at her, I'm like, that's how you do the industry. I don't care if you rap, sing, act. Like she gave. If you want to do that shit smart, she gave you the fucking blueprint. Yeah. This shit is show up. These people, put on a character, do what you're doing, and go home and shut the fuck up. Stay out the way, because nobody has any kind of gossip on that woman. But like she shows up, and when she shows up, you entertain whether you don't like her or not. Like, you know what I mean? But before, but after that, when it started to get to like Kardashians and Love and Hip Hop and all of this, then it became scripted, right? And then it wasn't fun. Like Love and Hip Hop, the first season, I liked it when they had like like Chrissy and all of them on there, and I can't remember all of the people, but I remember it was actually focused on like the women to like that were in relationships with certain artists. Like it really was like, it was real, it was authentic, they had a friendship. And then now I think it's just everything is like, it's fight this is ratchet, and I'm like, young girls that are watching this are being programmed to think this is how adults act. Think about if you're a young girl, you going home, you don't have parents at home because your parents are both working, right? Because it's a rat race, they got to pay the fucking bills. Everything's fucking expensive. Nobody's at home with the fucking child. The child is watching this, seeing adults conduct themselves in a manner, and the child is saying, oh, okay, well, this is how women act. Yeah. You go on your social media, you seeing women do this. This is how you act like a woman, right? And now, oh, fuck these niggas, fuck you can't be broke, fucking right? This is what it means. On the flip side, you a young man, right? Now fuck these bitches. Oh, this is how we supposed, because there's no one at home telling you these things, like actually guiding you. And America is this is on purpose. We know this shit is on fucking purpose, but it's another reason why me knowing this information, I can't consciously make music that would poison a child's mind, that's crazy. Because now I'm aware of what I'm doing. Now I'm gonna really reap some fucking karma for that shit. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. And I know that was a lot to say, but yeah, hip hop is very influential and you could learn a lot from it. Now, whether or not what you're learning is healthy or unhealthy, that's a different that's I guess it just depends on how aware you are. But right now, we're not really seeing the balance of offering these children something healthy. So let me not say that, because I think too, with Age of Aquarius, now we are starting, at least like you said too, now with social media, we're able to come across people that we really do align with. So
Yeah, I guess
we'll see where it goes in
we're
the
hopefully
future.
getting a balance. I feel hopefully like it has.
Yeah.
We've been seeing like kind of like the negative side to it, like been like because we've seen like hip hop evolve, and I was talking about that with my last guest that I had, where it's like we've seen it evolved, and we can say we're blessed to have like lived in the the golden era of hip hop, and like seen all the people that came before, like the 70s, 80s, all the way to like 90s, 2000s, and now this era, like this generation, like maybe to them it's like it's different to them, obviously, because, and I think Ninth Wonder was talking about it, where like there's younger producers sampling like old music, and people are like, oh, why are they sampling our shit? And then like but then it's also like I saw his perspective, what he said, because he kind of gave like a devil's advocate. I was like, I didn't think about this way, but like the fact that these kids, like, there's no way they can go back, like there's 50 years now of hip hop for them to like educate themselves. It would be so much, just like which decade should they focus on, like the 90s, the 80s. So he's like, we have to be a little bit more empathetic, kind of like what he kind of his message about like these younger kids, they might not know who like a Rakim is or a Big Daddy Kane, or like, but for me, it's like, if you're gonna be in the culture though, like, and you're gonna, like you said, either make money off of it or just like be part of it, I think it is important to educate yourself on who the pioneers and who paved the way. That I think is just like a respectful thing. But then like maybe the fans, like the people that are not in the hip hop industry technically, like just the listeners, that I understand. Like there's no way like a kid born in like the 2000s who's like maybe just 24 or something, like might not know, who a rapper is from like the 80s or 70s, and that's understandable. Yeah. But I don't know, like I've seen, like we've seen it progress, and I think we've been blessed to like live in the good, like the era of like when hip hop had, like you said, its balance of like dope shit, but then also like fuck up shit, like, or even in the club, like I used to like the 50 cents, like in the club, like our party music is not the same as the party music now. And I was kind of joking around, like, because at least ours, you can understand what they were saying. Like, they
weren't on drugs.
Right?
I mean, they might have been drunk, but not on like these Percocets and shit. That's really, it's the drugs, honestly.
And so, I mean, hopefully we'll see, we'll see a healthy balance. I'm trying to keep like a positive perspective on it, because I think there's so much dope music. It's just like, you have to dig for it now, because it's like so like easy to like people to release music now, and like just anybody can make music too, which is a good and bad thing, and that's a whole another conversation, right? of that. But to kind of bring it back, like I wanted to kind of ask you before we get out of here too, like what are some of your like top 5 like horror movies, and then top 5 like either hip hop albums or rap songs? Like what's that for you?
All right, horror movies. Well, obviously, is gonna be Nightmare on Elm Street. Let me see if there's a specific one. I think if I had to choose, I can't remember which number it was, but it was the one where with the bad kids, and they went to that fucking house. The bus had broke down or some shit, and they went to like the reform house. It was like,
because that's like my
no, it was. So I think, yeah, Dream Warriors was a good one too. But Dream Warriors was when the kids in the hospital, right? That had the sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Okay, that was Dream Warriors. So I think this might have been the third one then, if I'm not. This was either, because after Dream Warriors was the one with the baby, right? The Dream Child, right? I think.
Yeah. So Dream Warriors.
I always remember them out of.
Yeah, let me see.
3. So then maybe this might have been 4. Either way, it was one of them joints. But so that's in there. Obviously, I really appreciated very first Scream 1.
Yes.
That was my shit. This is gonna show my personality. I think Leprechaun 1 and 2. I love Leprechaun. He's like that's so. He's fucking. I love him. I definitely appreciated Leprechaun 1 and 2. I know I'm like going all. Yeah, that's like 3 or 4. Let me think. Horror. Cause I like so much horror. You know what? This movie's so stupid. It was Zombievers, I think. It's a stupid movie. This was like, it came out like maybe like 10 years ago. It was these beavers, they were zombies. It was the
Oh, I think
stupidest movies, but
I've
that's
heard
one of
of
my.
that one. I haven't seen it, but I heard about it. Yeah, yeah, I remember that one.
It is, it's stupid. It's stupid. And obviously this is not really a horror. I don't know if, I think this was like a B-rated horror, but Lake Placid
Oh, okay.
is
Oh
one of
shit.
my
But see,
favorites.
those were like dope. Like those like creature features ones from back in the day. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah, I
they were
like
like
shit like
shitty,
that.
but
Yeah.
like really entertaining. You know, like I think Betty White was in that one too. I
I,
think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm good for B-rated horror movies, or B-rated movies in general, but B-rated horror movies. But yeah, but like I appreciate all horror. I also liked I like a lot of the 80s the shits, but they're so generic. There's like this kind of like all the same thing. So I could tell you, I could say Slumber Party Massacre, or I could say Maniac Cop, and it's like the same fucking shit. So and there was this one. It was an Italian horror movie I really liked. The name is like something about a bird. Anyway, long story short, this woman and this man witnessed a murder in like a
I
art
just saw
gallery,
it.
and then oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
Did
a
you? It
bird's
was on
plumage,
Tubi.
right? It's a bird's plumage, I think is what it was called, or something like that. With like, and it's like a
Maybe,
murder mystery.
maybe. Yeah, it's a murder mystery. I can't, and it's a subtitle or whatever. But yeah, I really appreciated that one. That was an old movie.
Yeah, the one.
Favorite hip hop albums. Let me think. All right, Get Rich or Die Trying. I'm a 50 Cent fan. Like 50 Cent is God for me. G Unit for me.
Yes.
Hardcore, Little Kim. It Was Written, Nas. Okay, album. I can't, the first Jadakiss album. I can't remember if it was self-titled or if I can't remember the name of
Uh,
it, but it was with the red. He was wearing red.
yes.
The very first. Yeah, that I can't remember the name of. Shit, that's crazy. I can't remember the name of it. Um, and okay, album. I'm trying to think. You know what? I hate him. He's a devil. But this is one album that like I don't ever skip. Blueprint from Jay-Z. Blueprint one, the
Blueprint.
very first Blueprint.
Okay.
Yeah, part one. That was my shit. So how many is that? I got
Yeah, that
Get
was
Rich or Die
fine.
Trying It. That's five. Yeah, we
Yeah,
good.
and then yeah, Jada Kiss was
Um,
Kiss of Death. But yeah, yeah, that's
Kiss
like
of
an
Death. Yeah, that
iconic
shit.
iconic cover.
That's crazy. Couldn't even remember the name of that album, but that was my shit. That was, oh man. But yeah, yeah, that's for me. That's for like, I guess for all time, and that's only because I feel at least like now I feel you know what I'm bugging. I'm bugging. I wish I could have threw diplomatic immunity in that one, but
Okay.
I my shit's always
I know,
fluctuate.
same
I'm not
here.
gonna lie because I think it depends. Like I have like because I love Dipset, I love Camera. I'm such a New Yorker. I love like that New York thing. And real quick, just to touch on what you were saying with Ninth Wonder and the generations and all of that, right?
Yeah.
Like I never trip off of the younger generation. Like I'm not gonna be that old person who's like, oh, this younger generation. If I don't like it, I don't like it. I'm just not gonna listen to it. But I ain't gonna, tell you what to listen
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
But I will say that with the a lot of like I don't think it's our generation. I think it's like the one right above us kind of thing. Because I don't really meet people around my age group that's really they don't really care. We kind of indifferent to the shit
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
But I definitely meet like older people in like their 40s and 50s that are like they're real adamant about that and like you said or like he said it's 50 years of hip hop. Like you can't expect a kid to that, especially if my biggest problem is like a lot of those older generations, you didn't teach us shit.
That
There's a
is
lot of
true.
things y'all didn't teach us, and you mad. Like I always want to be the person that teaches. So whatever I do when it comes to rap or whatever I do within this lifetime, I want to make sure that people that are younger than me, like they were able to learn from me, learn from my mistakes, learn from whatever. Like I'm not gonna like I find that a lot. A lot of people complain about the hip hop shit. I'm like, but what are you doing? Are you actually like what are you doing specifically to
To educate
show
them.
these young kids
Yeah.
something? You're not doing a fucking thing. You just complaining on the internet, sir, ma'am. Like, come on,
Yeah.
man. So I don't like that shit. And a lot of people, even was it Jermaine Dupri? Was it a few years ago that was like talking about females in hip hop? And I'm like, you fucking rat with fucking teeth. You are Jermaine Dupri. You mean to tell me you ain't never had fucking access to women trying to rap? Like no woman that rap ever came up to you trying to rap for you, trying to get a fucking deal. Every single woman you ever encountered didn't rap. You're fucking bugging. You're a liar and you're an idiot. Because I remember when I was actually trying to get on. This is back in mid in like 2000s, mid 2000s. 2006, 7, 8, 9, around that time, or early 20s. And I was always hit with, you could rap, you could write songs, can you sex it up? Are you willing to sex up this? Like,
Yeah.
that was what they were looking for. And right, fast forward 10 years from that, Nicki Minaj comes on the scene, and I see what, and I'm like, oh, I know what that's like. You can't knock her or all these women. This is what the labels wanted. You guys wanted this, and now you're mad at what you got. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're in a position of power. So either you're not really powerful like you say you are, or you just choosing to not use your power. You just want to complain. So anyway, I like Ninth Wonder. I generally agree with his take on a lot of things too, and I'm with him on that. Anyway, my
Yeah.
bad. I talked your ear off. It's like a million hours, but thank you.
No,
Thank you. Thank you. That's all I gotta
no,
say.
you're good. And kind of like I wanted to touch on too, like as far as like I kind of like asking these questions. They're like random, just like for like hip hop and horror stuff. So like the first one is, if you could be in a horror movie, which one would it be, and what character would you play, and why?
Okay, could I? Oh, a character from that. First of all,
Yeah, like what
Nightmare on
movie?
Elm
Yeah,
Street.
what
Okay,
what movie you want to be in? Like, let's say you wanted to be in Nightmare on Elm Street. What character would you play and why?
yeah, and okay, I could choose a character.
Yeah,
Okay,
and choose the movie too that you
'cause
want to be in.
okay, so I would definitely do Nightmare, whatever. I don't know if it was 3 or 5, the
Uh-huh.
one with the fucking rebel kids.
Okay.
That one. And I would be, oh my god, who is it? The fucking the guy that I think he was smoking weed and he was playing the video game and he fell asleep playing the video game and then Freddy was in the because that was like my favorite part. That shit always stuck out to me because I was a kid when I was like, I don't want to smoke weed and play Nintendo and fall asleep. That's it. I just want to experience that. I think that would be a fun way to die.
Okay.
I'm not asking for that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I just thought that would be a fun fucking way to
Yeah.
die. That's it.
So that's a good. That's
This
a
is a
good one.
stupid scene. Like, yeah, you're not gonna get like money answers with these questions with me because my
No,
mind is fucking
you're good.
retarded.
You're good. This is funny. Like
Let's say
I just
that.
like asking it because I want to see what everybody's response is. And then the second one here is if you could like listen to like a rap album or a rap song for like the first time again, like which album or rap song would it be and why?
Oh, first time, first time. Let me think. What gave me a feeling? Um, Probably Get Rich or Die Trying, 50 Cent.
That's a good one. I like that
Because
album.
so before that album even came out, like, because I'm from Queens and like we were like 50 was he was a legend over here before like he blew.
Hmm.
I mean, he was a street legend, but like when he was rapping, like we knew he was rapping because he was on that. I think that LL Cool J movie Into Deep. He was on that
That's
soundtrack,
okay.
and that's actually how I came across him, and I was a fan of him ever since. But so I used to have his mixtapes, the underground stuff. So when Get Rich or Die Trying, when that album came out, I remember I had a leaked version. I did buy the actual thing to support, but I had it before it came out.
Yeah.
And I remember like it was like I oh my god, you know what it is, what I love about 50, and it's not just a Queens thing, is like he's so fucking, he's a genius. Like I don't think people would ever give him that title, but he really is a genius. Like if you understand the brain and the mechanics of the brain, he really is a genius. But his creativity, his art, his ability to put hooks and all of these things, like it was I loved it. You know why? Because he was kind of like the tail end of the golden era kind of thing, but he actually did this shit like in his music too. That was another thing that I loved. But like it was, I don't know. I think, it could have just been the Dr. Dre production maybe, because prior to that I was used to hearing him just like the gritty New York kind of sound. So like to hear him on like real like like a legend, you pair this powerhouse with this powerhouse, it was kind of like, and you know what? And after I heard that album, I was like, yo, he's a star. He's a star. And once that album dropped, forget it.
Yeah.
Whether you liked him or not, he was all over. He was everywhere. It was, oh, he got shot nine times. Da, da, da. Like he was white people loved him. I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's how you know that man was gonna be famous. But yeah, that's one of my favorite albums. And like I said, I remember listening to it, just knowing like, nah, this man he's gonna be something.
Yeah.
Like this is something.
Yeah, that's a
So
really dope. Like from top
yeah,
to bottom, that's a dope album. Yeah. And what about like what is your greatest fear, and do you think you'll ever overcome it, or have you overcome it?
honestly, my greatest fear is just not fulfilling my purpose in this lifetime. But I do know what my purpose is, and I'm moving with it thus far, and I make sure that I continue to just arm myself with the knowledge to make sure I could show up and just have the strength to show up and just always do what's right. So whether that means I gotta, whatever it is I have to do to build my confidence, read a lot, work out, make sure I look good, whatever, superficial shit, or maybe I gotta make sure I do yoga, meditate, clear the energy out of my body. Maybe I have to like not eat this kind of food. Maybe I have to like not be around these kind of people. Maybe I have to not follow this kind of content, consume this kind of whatever it is I have to do to make sure I stay on course. Like, I'm doing it now, and I'm programming myself to be able to do that in the future, because I definitely don't ever want to be that person that, like, I get that opportunity and and I'm just not righteous with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
no, yeah, and I don't know if when you were saying that, it reminds me of like one of my favorite quotes, like A Bronx Tale. I love that movie. I don't know why. But it's
that's
right where it says like the saddest thing in life is wasted talent, and that's for me like kind of like I can agree with what you just said, because that's the same thing. Like I live by that quote, because I'm like, I don't want to waste my potential. Like I've seen people not do it, or like even family members that like never got to do it. So I'm like trying to do it for those people that couldn't, Yeah.
And a lot of times too, unfortunately, those people that never got to do it, they try to deter you from doing. I'm not saying your family, but in a lot of cases,
That's true.
which is another thing. Like, once again, with the people that complain about the younger generation in hip hop, I'm like, so why you don't make the music you like? Like, that's another with me. Or you're fortunate, right? You don't have to listen to what you don't want. You could just make the shit you want to fucking make,
Yeah.
right? And fuck out of here. You got your own gift, right? And I look at things like that. It's like, you have potential. We all have potential. So,
Exactly.
figure that shit out. Don't be bitter. I mean, we all have moments where we probably feel defeated in life and we give up, and that's part of the human journey. I'm not ever trying to like take that away, or make it seem like it's simple. It's not. It's very fucking
It
complex.
is.
But, you know, just that self-love to continue to show up for yourself even when you might not want to show up, you don't feel as strong to show up. It's like, you have to, man. You're like, as cliche as it sounds, what is it? You never know until you try. Like, whatever I think that's the saying, right?
Yeah.
That's all,
Yeah,
man.
no, it's true. And to
But
kind of end it here, and obviously I want to thank you like for your time, and it's been a really dope conversation. I knew we were gonna like have like a really dope
now I
conversation.
appreciate this, man. I'll fuck with you,
Yeah,
girl.
thank
I
you.
might, like I said, I might, if I ever get migrated to San Diego some way, shape, or form, somebody's like, yeah, 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 let me fly you out. Not really, but if I ever end up there, I'm coming to hang with you. I'm trying to visit that zoo.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you definitely need to come down here. Yeah, it'll be dope. Let me know, and I'll show you around, because there's a lot of dope shit out here. But before we get out of here, I always like to end it with this question, like, what, and it kind of ties in with what you just said a little bit, but like, what kind of legacy would you like to leave behind, either creatively or personally?
Listen, when I transition, right, or maybe the day before I transition, whatever it is, like, I want both realms, right? Both of them to be like, yo, you did that. You smoked that life shit. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. In terms of, the creative legacy, like, I'm working on that. Like, I'm Secret Squirrel, so that's gonna show improve at some point. And when that does show improve, I'm gonna be able to turn around and be like, I fucking told you. I knew exactly what the fuck I was doing. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You know what I mean? And then I want, the righteous people to be able to be like, yeah, like, you play for our team. Like, yeah, we got that, kind of thing. Because I also don't want to ever come back to earth. When I transition, I want to make sure I resolved all my fucking karma. I never have to come back here, because you people be fucking, you're just keep fucking it up. So, you know what I mean? That's it. But I want. So when the people that are still alive after I transition, I want them to be like, "Yep, she did that," and on the other side, I want them to welcome me with like, "Yep, you did that." That's it.
That's dope.
That's all ego I know, but fuck, feed my ego. I died. I'm dead. Fuck.
That's dope. Yeah, man. Well, I mean, thank you so much. It was really like dope conversating with you. I have to have
Thank
you
you.
back or
Thank
something,
you.
because I feel like these conversations are not enough. Like for me, like I was telling like the past
I'm
guest that I was like, I'm only trying to make the episode like 30 minutes, but I'm like, there's no way. Like I just love like talking about this shit with people, like hip hop, horror, and then whatever it takes us, where the conversation takes us.
I appreciate. Listen, thank you for having me. I like organic stuff. So when it's like this, like I'm always game for this. I'm not an industry person. I mean, industry people, they reach out to me, and I'm always gonna be cordial and respectful. But I know when it's the flim flam. I know when people they just trying to get onto something because they smell something close by, so they want to be on that, versus somebody that's like genuinely, no, I like what you do. I'm curious. I might not even like what you do, but I'm intrigued. I'm curious, so I like shit like that. But just off even how you approached me, and you said that once you said that horror stuff, I was like, oh, We on the same type of time, man. Cause I'm a like I said, I'm one of those. I could binge. You could just call me over your house one day. Yo, you want to watch? Yep, yep.
We'll have
We
to
can
have a
binge all of
virtual
this
party or
shit.
something, virtual watch party since you're on the other side.
I'm with it, right? Yeah, I'm gonna try that. But listen, I do want to say this. I mean, you could take this off after recording, but like, let's definitely stay in touch, man. Like, feel free. You could always DM me. I'm one of those people. I like to like, as long as you got a good sense of humor, like share funny memes, videos. I'm all for it, and I have a dark sense of humor too. So like,
Dope.
you know, feel free, feel free. I'm one of those. But I like your aura, man. You're very peaceful.
Thank you.
Very warm energy, man. So I hope people treat you right over there in San Diego because you definitely have a woman's woman type of energy.
Thank you. I
So and
appreciate that.
intelligent too, but it's just but I like the warm. It just you're like yeah, it's cool.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, and that's why I was like, I fuck with you, and I was like, I need to have her on the pod because I've been seeing you doing your thing, but even before that, like before you even like, because I saw that you did like a cipher thing on was it like Shade 45 or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
Or
punchline,
punchline.
punchline. Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this shit was like, I was like, because I was literally trying to like come up with the list because I always like a balance of like having have like males, have females because I want to like show perspective and also like indie and mainstream. And I was like, she's like perfect, and then the fact that you also like horror stuff. So I'm like, I've been wanting to get people that are a little bit of both this season, just to have those conversations. Because sometimes I ask people like in the past, like I've had guests where I asked them like about horror stuff, and they were like, oh, I don't really watch that, or vice versa. Like they were into horror stuff, but they weren't into hip hop. So I appreciate like the conversation we had. It was really dope.
No, man. Thank you again. Seriously, I'm looking forward to whenever this drops. You let me know. I'm also good for like horrible, trashy, but for whatever reason it works kind of promo. So if you ever, whenever you start doing your reels for this or clips, let me know because I could always, I'm like I said,
Okay.
it ain't anything crazy, but it'll get you some kind of
I
clickbait.
like Okay, yeah, no, for sure, yeah. It'll probably this episode will probably drop in June, but I'm thinking like as like, the months pass by, I'm probably gonna like sprinkle some like clips of like the conversations that I've had so far, so that way it's like kind of
Okay,
leading
that's
up to the
dope.
season. Because kind of like we were talking about being intentional. Like I'm dropping the season on like my grandpa's would have been my grandpa's birthday because he passed away last October. So I was like to pay homage. I'm like May
Okay.
17th will be the day that the first episode drops, and it'll be every 2 weeks. So yours will probably drop
Oh, that's dope.
in like June.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's plenty of time for me to, finagle some shit.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
good,
we'll
man.
definitely stay in touch for
But
sure. And I thank you so much for being on again.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you again for having me. Seriously. Yeah, like I said, I'm here, man. Just feel, whatever. We'll chop it up. I could definitely be in your DM now after
Yeah,
this.
for
Now
sure.
that we have such an intimate, we've just had an intimate
Yeah,
correspondence.
no,
So
for
I'm
sure.
in your
Feel
bedroom at
free
this
to like,
point.
send me voice messages, message me. I'm always down for that. Having conversations about music, movies, or any other shit, esoteric shit. I'm into that.
Oh, we say no more, baby. Say no more.
Alrighty, man. Well, thank you so much, and have a good rest of your week.
Thank you. You too. All right. Take
I you
care. All
too.
right.
Peace.